voice of Neil Rule and the iconic Terry Foster. Sit back and relax. It's time for your daily dose of Big D energy.
What is going on? Big D Energy, D-Mac, Flannel Sam, and for Neil Rule, who will be on the call for the Pistons game versus the Brooklyn Nets tonight. Spend more racks. We're a little late, guys. Don't worry about it. He had the wrong boat out. Yeah. We got the pontoon now. Again, joined by JB in the TD. How's everybody doing today, fellas?
Oh, I'm great. Good to be on the desk 2 days in a row. Did I win the lottery or something? Did I get promoted?
I don't know, but before the show, the legend Kirk Gibson was in getting his hair cut, and I told Sam Flannel to feel free to go in there and legend kill Kirk Gibson, but he will put hands on you. So you are getting smarter, son. You haven't moved from that chair.
No, I have not.
So I'm proud to see you. But we got a big show planned today. Couple things right off the rip. Detroit Dabber 313 first in. I got to throw some birthday wishes out. January 26th, special day in my household to Cheryl McCarty. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Dapper Dan Miller, voice of your Detroit Alliance, happy birthday. And to my boy, a fellow lovable psycho dad in Donald Holland, one of the diehard wrestling independent scene guys that in around here that supports better than anybody. It's his birthday today, so shout out to you, Donnie. Shout out to everybody else. A lot of things going on. First of all, I saw in the chat thread, thank you everybody, woodwardsports.com, getting your chats in and stuff, and they're talking about the dad's trip that's in Montreal right now, and Larkin and his dad and everybody who's up in the stands. I see people talking about stories, and the shaving cream story came out, and I said in the chat thread that you can definitely somebody going to get shoe checked at lunchtime. And for you out there who don't know what shoe check is, a shoe check is what you think it, and the best, most vulnerable place that you can be shoe checked is at a table, at a restaurant, or like you do when you play on the road in the NHL. You have a buffet, right? So you have a buffet and everybody goes, but you know those buffets where they got steak and chicken and pasta and everything, salad, everything on down the line to the ice cream, but it's on a table. You walk by. Now, somebody goes underneath the table, right? And he's got ketchup, mustard, cheese, anything like that, a concoction. Sometimes guys will be creative. And usually, right, because you're on the road, so you got your suit on, so you got your pimp daddy shoes, and you're walking by there, next thing you know, boom, you go sit down and you got stuff on your shoe. That's one way to shoe check. Another one is if you're having a team meeting or like a guy's back turned. So just like in the mafia, when you go into the restaurant, some guys like to sit in the corner so that they can see everywhere. In a hockey atmosphere, you have to take that. So the guy who's got his back to everybody, somebody will sneak up behind him and try to shoe check him. Okay. The king of the shoe checks, right? There's the two pranksters, and I see somebody in there said Dino was a bit of a prankster. Yes, I got a great Dino Cicerelli story for another day on Halloween in Calgary. But it was Marty Lapointe was a shoe check master. He sat under a buffet table at lunch for an hour and a half waiting to get one of the big guys. I'm not going to say who he got, but he waited an hour and a half. The other thing that I saw with the whipped cream, that was Chris Draper. Chris Draper was the king of the whipped cream, and that was usually the face full of cream for the days of the birthday. So happy birthday to anybody who's celebrating out there today, but especially to those three special people. So that's what a shoe check. I'll be interested. I'll ask to see if anybody got it. But when the dad's trip, there's going to be some shenanigans. So it's good. This is a good bonding. I think it's great for the last two games before All-Star break. I think it's something that you see culture. You know, it's one of those things that if you watch the game the other day, and I saw this tweet going around, but it's the little things that I look for. Like when they won the game the other night and scored in overtime, watch Lucas Raymond every time in a celebration. Yeah. Either it's at the end of the game, if it's around the pile, he's always the hype man, right? He's always the hype man. And I just say this because this goes a long way with what they're building and what the culture is. And I know that the inconsistency on the ice, right? It's frustrating right now, but we're going to get there, and I like what they're building as a team. So have fun. Detroit Red Wings dad's trip. They're in Montreal tonight, so you can catch that. I think it's on Bally's.
Oh, right.
Yeah, exactly. So, but breaking news. Breaking news, and this is important because I think there's a trail to it. I'm going to go to JB because he brought this to me right before the show. JB?
Yes, the breaking news. The Jets are hiring former Broncos head coach Nathaniel Hackett as their offensive coordinator.
Ooh.
Okay, now let's think about this a little bit, right? Now, Nathaniel Hackett did an absolutely poor job.
Yes.
As the head coach, the 1 year, the Denver Broncos, we see the Russell Wilson experiment did not work, the head coach. Is this a case that what we always say, sometimes just because you're an offensive coordinator and a great positions coach doesn't mean that you're the leader of men? But I think it's a little deeper than that, Spenmo, don't you?
Yeah, I think so. I think this might be a shoe to drop in the Aaron Rodgers sweepstakes.
Oh, it might. So him going to the Jets. And why would that be, Sam Flannel? Is there any connection between Aaron Rodgers and Nathaniel Hackett?
There absolutely is a connection. From 2019 to 2021, Nathaniel Hackett was the offensive coordinator of the Green Bay Packers. And in 2020 and 2021, Aaron Rodgers won MVP. How much of that had to do with Nathaniel Hackett, we don't know for sure, but he was the OC. There was a reason why he got a head coaching job. And the 1 year where Aaron Rodgers did not win the MVP, in that 2019 to 2021 stretch, he threw 26 touchdowns and 4 interceptions, and every single one of those years the Packers had 13 wins. So if the Jets want to get Aaron Rodgers, reuniting him with his old offensive coordinator, that's not a bad way to go. And if you're the Jets, Aaron Rodgers is certainly an upgrade over Zach Wilson, Mike White, and Joe Flacco. He's got Breece Hall, Garrett Wilson, Elijah Moore, Corey Davis, Tyler Conklin. I don't know if they're all still going to be there, but a couple of them are rookies. I'm just saying. No, watch out for the Jets.
Right, and does that not, Spenny, put, like, almost to me, it says, okay, the Jets are all in on Aaron Rodgers. And I think Aaron Rodgers will probably be all in on the Jets with this guy if what we are saying, we're reading it correctly.
I mean, that's the type of roster, too. If you're Aaron Rodgers, you're looking at the offense with those young players, but you're also looking at the defense with guys like Sauce Gardner, Quinnen Williams, Jermaine Johnson, young guys. This is a team that if they had even competent quarterback play, they might have been fighting for a playoff spot. They probably would be in the playoffs, but unfortunately, they had the sort of concoction of Mike White, who was good at times, Zach Wilson, who was abysmal, and Joe Flacco, who's a fossil. So Aaron Rodgers might be the exact missing piece they need, and he worked well with Hackett. I mean, by the numbers, he had some of his best seasons with Nathaniel Hackett as his offensive coordinator. Why not reunite Aaron Rodgers to the Jets? It's way more possible now that they hired Hackett as their offensive coordinator than it was before. I believe that there's some traction to it now.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that, maybe that's a poll question, Spenny. Do you think the hiring of Nathaniel Hackett by the Jets pretty much solidifies them making a trade with the Packers for Aaron Rodgers? Because to me, writing's on the wall. And then I think that also, too, is that you sort of see slowly the domino effect come into play and the team's repositioning and stuff like that. And I like it, actually, like for the Jets, because I thought the Jets and what Robert Saleh, and you mentioned the defense, right? That's the one thing that, Aaron Rodgers, Green Bay has traditionally had a defense that could help him out. So, we'll see. Does that, I guess, let me ask you guys, does that excite you if that happens, to get Aaron Rodgers out of your division at the end of the day, or would you rather you like where you have him right now because he's sort of your bitch?
I mean, you would think that's
is it?
Hey,
well, I'm just
no, you're right.
Factual.
He's still Aaron Rodgers, and it wasn't all Aaron Rodgers' fault why the Green Bay Packers kind of fell off. I mean, Christian Watson, he developed chemistry with him as the season went on. I think they're going to be a better combination. Romeo Doubs had injuries. So to me, I don't think it's as simple as Aaron Rodgers in the NFC North. He would just be trash next year and the Green Bay Packers would be trash. You think because the Lions kind of owned him this year that, hey, bring Aaron Rodgers back to the NFC North. We have nothing to worry about. But if he is out of the NFC North, I think the Packers will be even less of a threat. I think they would be a last place team even below the Bears next year. So to me, I want to see him in the AFC East instead. Me personally. What about you, Spenny?
Yeah, I agree. You heard the Packers GM come out and say that they're not trading him to anybody in the NFC. It would have to be an AFC team. Obviously, the Jets are a good destination for a quarterback because they're realistically a quarterback away from being a real contender in the AFC. But yeah, I'm with you, Flannel. He's still Aaron Rodgers. As much as he had a down year, he was still MVP the 2 prior seasons to that. So if you get him out of the NFC North, I think it opens up more opportunities for the Lions, and I'm all for it.
At least you read my mind. But I'll give you credit for the question. Do you think Aaron Rodgers still wanted in Green Bay, or do you think they're ready to move on to Jordan Love? Because here's the one thing that I saw. I saw a different Jordan Love when he was in there, like actually, a guy that could be feasible and stuff like that. Do you think the Packers are ready to move on?
Well, if they don't move on, if they don't go to Jordan Love, they could go his entire rookie contract without really knowing what they have, and it would have been a completely wasted draft pick. So I think there is some appeal to, there might have been some appeal to them going to Jordan Love at the end of the year, but of course the Packers made that sort of miraculous 4-0 run, which got ended by the Lions in Week 18. To me, I don't know. It would really be unfortunate for the Packers, fortunate for the Lions, but unfortunate for the Packers if they go an entire rookie contract not knowing what Jordan Love is. We've seen him in short spots. We've seen him not look so good in the previous few years, but I'm with you, D-Mac. Jordan Love, it looked like in a very small sample size that he figured a few things out, that he was better, that maybe they have something. But if they keep doing this song and dance with Aaron Rodgers, they may never know. And that could cripple their franchise even more as the years go on.
It's funny. You thought they don't know. Nobody knows.
Nobody knows.
Right? Nobody knows. And so I think, I don't know, maybe there's that contention because of the money, but the bottom line is the Jets can afford it. Right, you know what I'm saying? I'm going to put my Neil hat on here for a minute. I know that they can afford to make this move, and this pretty much to me puts the writing on the wall.
Yeah.
Another writing that was put on the wall. Your guy, Aiden Hutchinson.
Hey.
When we come back from the break, we're going to talk about it because he is a finalist for the Rookie of the Year in the NFL, which is well deserved. But we'll talk about that, and I have a question that Sam and I started talking about as far as taking a big, deeper dive look. And again, I think it only supports Neil Rule's claim of the greatness of Brad Holmes and why there should be hashtag trust in Holmes. But Spenny,
yes,
looks like the weather's a little bit less today. Looks like people are out and about town. Where we going for lunch?
Obviously, you got to go to Cousins Maine Lobster. With the weather clearing up a little bit, those trucks are going to be rolling around. And Woodward Sports is brought to you by Cousins Maine Lobster Detroit. Check out their food trucks rolling around the city, offering the tastiest lobster rolls, lobster tacos, and Terry and my favorite lobster grilled cheese. Go to cousinsmainelobster.com to search locations to find Detroit's schedule or download the app to order ahead and earn points. You can even scan that QR code right there and find out where they are rolling around the city. Make sure you check out Cousins Maine Lobster.
Introducing the Planet Fitness Guide to getting that post-workout glow. Step 1. What's your why? More epic energy? Better sleep? Blow off steam? Step 2. Join Planet Fitness for just $10 a month and get moving in our clean and spacious clubs. Step 3. Bask in that post-workout glow. Join Planet Fitness today for just $10 a month.
Join today at any of the 50-plus Detroit area locations.
When it comes to making your haircut truly an experience, there's no better place than Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Come to any one of our 26 Metro Detroit locations for an award-winning haircut experience and qualify for a chance to win a down payment for your dream home up to $200,000. Our precision haircut and talented stylists will have you looking good, feeling good, and give you a chance to change your life forever. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome.
It's a great day to get some Sensoron in your life. Okay. There it is. Sensoron, here we go. Gotta grab the cranberry. Oh wait, it's 2 for $4. Got double up with the classic as well. Centron World, baby. Centron, available at select Krogers, and if you want to know how, go to @CentronWorld.com. You get dope like me. You know what? Why wait? Great taste, guaranteed.
It's a new year, so let Guardian Alarm offer you customized solutions from real experts, professional technicians that take the time to recommend security and automation solutions specific to your needs, whether business or personal. But I need you to call the number 1-800-STAY-OUT. 24/7 professional monitoring. You can call anytime, day or night, and know that a Guardian team member will stay on the phone as long as needed. But I need you to call the number 1-800-STAY-OUT. Technology backed by people. Your safety and security deserves technology that's been proven to work, and people who have been proven to care about what you care about, they care about, like this man here. How many straight days of flannel protection?
201.
Hey. 201 straight days of flannel protection, because that's what he cares about. So give Guardian a call today. 1-800-STAY-OUT.
Stay out of the playoffs,
NFC
Zeke
North,
Elliott.
Aaron Rodgers.
Absolutely. Guardian Alarm, your local security experts. Tell them, Big D Energy, we sent you. Welcome back here. Thirsty Thursdays here. Big D Energy, D-Mac. Fredo Sam in for Neil Rule. So that means JB's in the booth running the audio, and we got Spend More Racks as always, keeping us real, keeping us light here. I alluded to your boy, Aiden Hutchinson, being recognized as a finalist.
Yes.
For the NFL Rookie of the Year. The other two finalists, of course, Sauce Gardner.
Yes.
And the probably, I would say, the greatest value in the NFL draft in Woolen, the cornerback out of Seattle.
Yes.
So it looks like by the odds, by Vegas, where Sauce is minus 1,200.
Yep.
And Hutch is plus 800, that this award, we've talked about it, is more than likely going to Sauce Gardner. But it brought up a question. That I looked at, because when you look at Woolen, right, he was a 5th rounder, correct?
Yes, he was.
A 5th rounder, Rookie of the Year, shutdown corner, interceptions, one of those guys on the Seattle roster, right, that made a big difference early on. One of these guys. Now, my question to you guys is when you look at that, because being in the 5th round, ending up Rookie of the Year, stuff like this, where he was drafted, the value. But after that, right, and as far as who are the value guys in the draft, do you not have an argument? And I said, well, doesn't that mean that Rodrigo, who is named on the all-rookie team, finishes 2nd? So you got one guy, and you brought up another guy that you could put in the conversation also in
James Houston. And now that I'm kind of thinking about it, another one that is obvious that I'd forgotten about for a while, how about Brock Purdy? Mr. Irrelevant. He's now the starting quarterback for the San Francisco 49ers. They're in the NFC Championship. He, to me, is playing the best quarterback for the San Francisco Niners since maybe Colin Kaepernick. He's a better quarterback right now than Jimmy Garoppolo has ever been. And that's just by the numbers.
Well, but you trust. The eyeball test, too, is that you trust that he's going to make that throw, right?
Yes.
You go back right now and you ask any San Francisco fan, and it's the throw that was missed to the wide-open Sanders, right?
Yeah.
That throw right there, if I asked you right now, life or death, would Brock Purdy make that pass?
Probably,
right?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not trying to speak out of term.
He's the favorite for Offensive Rookie of the Year. Brock Purdy, Offensive Rookie of the Year, obviously, because of what he's done. So to your point, I guess, you're right. Spenny, what would you say? Because all these guys, but isn't it more like really the impact that's having, and especially it's different here because the impact's happening at home. Yeah, you're seeing it, and like you said, there's a lot of great value picks in this draft. Obviously, you look at Tariq Woolen, you look at Brock Purdy, but you look at the Lions got 3 of them, with Rodrigo, with James Houston, and with Kirby Joseph, who Kirby Joseph was thought to be a project when they first drafted him. He only had 1 year playing the position. This is his 2nd year playing safety, And he came in there and obviously was forced into action because of the injury and turned out a great season. It looks like he locked down that free safety position for a while for the Detroit Lions. So very, very strong rookie class. Obviously, Breece Hall got injured. He was off to a great start. Damon Pierce, you have Chris Olave, you have Garrett Wilson, you have all these guys. And it seems now that rookies are more ready than ever to come into the NFL and to make plays and to make things happen, because I don't remember as deep of a rookie class as we have this year, to where there's 4th rounders, 5th rounders, 6th rounders, and the last pick of the draft coming in and making immediate impacts on teams.
No, it's unbelievable. But you know what, Spenny, when you said that, it got me looking at all sports, right? And you want to include soccer and different things like that, with who are the superstars coming out. It's the younger guys that are ready to play. I think around the world, kids are developed. It's got to be due to the training, the education, the internet, all this stuff, is that kids are ready to play at a younger age. You look at the NHL, you look at our team, you look at Mo Sider, Lucas Raymond, stuff like this. You look at our basketball team with Cade, J9, and Jalen Darren, they're babies, right? And I think sometimes we forget that.
Lucas Raymond wasn't even supposed to start with the team last year. If it wasn't for injuries, he would have been in Grand Rapids or in Frölunda. And then he comes in here and he makes a play and he finishes. He was 4th in Rookie of the Year voting last year.
And then look at this year, right? Look at this year. Look at Johnny Bergs. Look at Johnny Bergs fitting in. Maybe you saw Soderblom was going to be up and down and more of a numbers thing. So it's really interesting, but all across, it's more of the young man's league. Robert Closier, a councilman out in San Diego, brought up a great point, and I had to ask this question because I'm not sure. Do you guys know an NFL without Aaron Rodgers?
When was he drafted? I don't.
Like when you think back to your football fandom, right? Can you remember Brett Favre?
I remember Brett Favre as the quarterback for the Packers for a little bit.
Right? Do you think because and somebody brought up in the chat thread too, is that we didn't hear Aaron Rodgers until Brett Favre left? Is that the same? So it's sort of like the Green Bay Packers MO, right?
Yeah. And Brett Favre went to the Jets when he left the Packers.
Hey. Whoa.
There is, oh my gosh. Just like the Red Wings in St. Louis, it looks like the Jets and the Packers. Well, wouldn't that be apropos? Remember how I told you about karma is real?
Yeah.
I mean, reading the lines. Anybody out there, I put a couple dollars on if there's a line Aaron Rodgers traded to the Jets.
I would too.
No, but it is a young man's league, like all around. Basketball, this, stuff like that. Makes it more exciting. And you're mentioned because here's the thing, Spenny.
Yes.
All these guys, what you're talking about, pure athletes.
Yep.
Pure athletes. Like what you just said about Kirby Joseph. So Kirby Joseph, James Houston, Rodrigo Hutch. I mean, the kids are ready to play. Everybody's ready to play. And the athleticism, the point is because Kirby Joseph played 1 year. And then he's playing in the NFL and he's making a difference.
Yeah, and it makes it even more impressive. I know with in the modern sports and modern NFL, rookies do seem to come in and contribute right away. This is going to be a really good rookie class, I believe. I think it's going to, when you look back in a few years, it's going to be one of the best ever. But the Lions, they may have been, you could look at maybe the Jets or the Seahawks as the team with the best draft class, but the Detroit Lions had as good of a draft class as anybody. And when you talk about value picks, we talked about Tariq Woolen in the 5th round was obviously a great value pick. Brock Purdy, Mr. Irrelevant, great value pick. But James Houston was 2nd in the NFL in sacks as a 6th round pick. Malcolm Rodriguez was on the all-rookie team as a linebacker as a 6th round pick. So the Lions they've got the perfect combination this draft of sort of those hidden gems, those diamonds in the rough, and then along with the Kirby Joseph, who forced 6 turnovers and was a 3rd round pick, but they also hit on their 2nd overall pick in Aiden Hutchinson, who's probably going to be 2nd in Rookie of the Year voting. He led all rookie edge rushers in sacks. He had 3 interceptions. They had contributors all across the board, and that's just a testament to Brad Holmes, the coaching staff, particularly a guy like Aaron Glenn, because all of the great rookies this year have been on defense. So the future is bright in Detroit, and it's great that they have rookies that are contributing, that are all rookie team, that are talked about as Rookie of the Year. That's stuff that we're not always used to as Lions fans, but I think we need to get used to it because we saw it last year, we saw it this year, and I think we might see it again in the next upcoming years.
But it's great that you explain it because you like where you say it like that, where it explains it's the way our defense was.
Yeah.
Because when you're trying to build so young, and they had to learn, then that's what they learned, and then they learned to be bend but not break. But they did it together, and at the end of the day, when the storm clears, when they're all going into OTAs and talking and whatever, they're building something. And that's the beauty that it's theirs. And here's the one thing, because remember about James Houston, right? He got sent down to the practice squad, so everybody in the league missed on him the first time around, thank goodness. But to me, it just reiterates also too, right, what I said watching Hard Knocks last year. There's something to having former players as coaches, guys that have been there. Right, and it's a long-run play. It's not immediate. It doesn't show up immediate, but I think that over the sample size of even last season, you saw the growth and you saw the impact, and these guys are good enough to grab the concepts of whatever's been thrown, and it's just great to watch them all build together.
Yeah, and now when they're going into the next offseason, the next OTAs, the next training camp, these young players, these kind of newish coaches, they have now experienced some success. I mean, they didn't make the playoffs, but they were a winning team. The Lions, despite not making the playoffs, they're ahead of schedule. And I think that's important for the younger guys. I mean, you look at rookies like Aiden Hutchinson, Malcolm Rodriguez, James Houston, Kirby Joseph. I know this sounds a little bit like hyperbole, but all they know is winning. They experienced a bad start. That's a winning season, 9-8. And now their expectations coming into next year are playoffs, division title. If they can go their entire rookie contract, and I know this is a big leap, just in a winning culture, experiencing that every year. Just imagine how great that'll be. And imagine what this team can accomplish. It's honestly, it's intoxicating. It's beautiful as a fan. And I'm sure they feel it in Allen Park every day.
No, and that's it. And they feel it and they show it. And I'm gonna tell you this. Because you know what it started to feel like, and I'm looking into it. It reminds me of maybe 93, 94, 95 with the Wings, with our young guns. Myself, Chris Draper, Kirk Maltby, Marty LaPointe, Chris Osgood, Aaron Ward, Jamie Pusher, Matthew Dandino. Not your Hall of Fame guys, not your legends, but your meat and potatoes guys, and guys that would prove, because I have factual evidence, 4 of them, right, that it worked out. That's what it reminds me of them coming together and believing. And to your point about, do they feel it? Yeah, it doesn't matter if we feel it. Do you see them feeling it? And that's 100%, right?
So, Darren McCarty, are you calling for this Detroit Lions team to win 4 Super Bowls? Is that what you're saying?
I'm calling. Well, when I mentioned all those guys together, right? No, I mentioned that they're building towards, let's get them one. Different sports, Sam. I don't know about the Lombardi Trophy. I've never raised one, so I can only talk about the Stanley Cup.
No, I'm just messing.
I know you are. You're trying to legend kill the killer. Yeah, exactly. Anyways, we'll move on when we come back. But yes, Sam, I think that legitimate. Everybody's talking about whether it's next year, NFC Championship to whatever. It's coming. The ball's rolling. The ball's rolling downtown. Get on board. WoodwardSports.com. Get in the chat thread. When we come back, we're going to talk about making this team better. Names out there, not young names, veteran names. You know, there's one guy going around maybe on defense that we were talking about that could help it. But Spenny, you know, some people don't like seafood. Yeah. I don't know why. I mean, I agree with Mike, whoever put it on there. If I get shoe checked with a lobster roll, I'm eating it.
Yeah, I would
right?
too.
But if you don't like lobster rolls, maybe you want some brekkie or some potatoes. Where would you go?
Maybe you want some comfort food, and there's only one place to go with that, and that is Big Boy, because wintertime in Detroit is always better with comfort foods from Big Boy. Try the classic meatloaf or Cajun chicken Alfredo. What about breakfast? The stuffed potato pancakes are back. They got the Lumberjack, the Santa Fe Garden, or Blockbuster. Stop by your local Big Boy today and satisfy those taste buds.
Love Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on Shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Beverly Hills Golf, Woodward Golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today.
When it comes to making your haircut truly an experience, there's no better place than Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Come to any one of our 26 Metro Detroit locations for an award-winning haircut experience and qualify for a chance to win a down payment for your dream home up to $200,000. Our precision haircut and talented stylists will have you looking good, feeling good, and give you a chance to change your life forever. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome.
Can't get enough Woodward Sports content? Head over to woodwardsports.com right now for up-to-date sports articles and great entertainment news. We have the best writers, bloggers, and coverage all at your fingertips. Head to woodwardsports.com right now to experience all Woodward Sports has to offer.
Chili Peppers Tanning is where you'll find the cleanest salons in the D with spotless, sanitized rooms and trained and certified tanning professionals. Join the Pepper Club for all the best deals. They'll be all competitors by $5.
$5?
$5? Yes.
Wow.
It's an unbelievable deal, isn't it? Don't forget to pick up Australian Gold, Designer Skin, Caltan, and Swedish Beauty Lotions. ChiliPeppersTanning.com. The hottest bulbs, the hottest deals, the darkest tans, your vitamin D headquarters, 27 locations, and more coming. Visit them at ChiliPeppers.com. It's Chili Peppers Tanning.
Chili Peppers, Dan?
Bam! Big D Energy here. Thursday. Darren McCarty. Flannel Sam in for the heel. Neil Rule. Spenmo Rax. JB. Keeping the TV booth up. Keeping the sounds going. We're talking Lions. Obviously, we're talking about Rookie of the Year, Hutch, about all the young guys and stuff like this. But now I want to get into the rumors and innuendos and different guys around the league that have been maybe in the conversation with coming to Detroit free agency-wise. One of these guys' names, Jalen Ramsey, quarterback, Los Angeles Rams, which you're talking about the Brett Favre, Jets, Aaron Rodgers, Jets, Packers freeway. We know that there's some conversation between the Rams and Detroit, like those communications are open. So you never know, but Sam, what do you think? Are you down to make a trade for Jalen Ivey, or where do you stand on that situation?
Ooh, I don't know if I've ever been more conflicted about anything in my life, because the Lions, they obviously need a corner. It's one of their biggest needs. I don't know if you want to go into next season with Jeff Okudah and Jerry Jacobs as your starters, with all due respect to them. And Jalen Ramsey, he's already put together a Hall of Fame career in just 7 seasons. Since 2017, he's been, to me, the best corner in the NFL, maybe losing it for a season or two, but overall. He's a 5-time Pro Bowler, 3-time first-team All-Pro, which means for 3 seasons he was the first or second best corner in the league and was recognized by the NFL. There's a lot of good about Jalen Ramsey. There's a lot of reasons why a team like the Lions would want a Jalen Ramsey. I personally believe, and maybe I'm drinking the Kool-Aid a little bit, that this defense, which in the last 10 games only allowed 20.2 points per game, could be a Jalen Ramsey away from being a defense that could make this team a contending team. But Jalen Ramsey is also, his cap hit for next season is $25.2 million. That's a lot. You're going to have to...
Whoa. Check out, but no. But again, these conversations have to, because Spenny, my question to you is, that's a large number. What do you feel about the situation? Because to me, as much as that number, that's like $50 million for Rodgers to play quarterback to me. Yeah. But the fact is what would he mean on this defense, and would he be that player to put you over the hump? If that's the case, if you think that he's the missing piece to the puzzle, then I think, when it all costs, you might have to do it. But what are your speculations on that?
I totally agree with you. He is a guy that would put you over the hump. The only thing is, I don't think the Lions are at the hump yet. I think
call it right there.
I think this is an all-in move. This is a Super Bowl contender move, like what the Eagles, we saw them do this year, where you go out and you get a guy, what the 49ers did with Christian McCaffrey. You go out, you get a guy that'll be the one to push you over the hump. I don't think the Lions are at that hump yet, and I think the Lions are going to definitely draft a cornerback in the first round. I've been looking at a lot of these guys. Christian Gonzalez is my personal favorite, but you also have guys like Witherspoon, Joey Porter Jr. You can get Emmanuel Forbes in the second round. I think Brad Holmes is going to do his thing in the draft and get a cornerback. Jalen Ramsey would be a great addition to a Super Bowl contender, but the Lions are not a Super Bowl contender just yet.
I mean, everything that you said, Spenny, I agree with for the most part. And I'm not saying that the Lions should trade for Jalen Ramsey. I'm just kind of, early on, I was kind of listing the pros of it. But like I said, the contract, $25.2 million cap hit that's a lot. And with that kind of a cap hit, I don't think this team will be able to sort of stand pat. You're going to have to make some tough decisions if you go after Jalen Ramsey. You're not going to be able to re-sign DJ Chark. You might have to make some tough decisions about an Anzalone or a Jamal Williams. Obviously, there's a lot that the Lions can do. They can cut Okwara. They can cut Michael Brockers. They can cut Vaitai. They can even cut Jeff Okudah, who I think would be expendable given that the Lions get Jalen Ramsey. But what Spenny said about drafting a corner, this corner class is pretty... I'd say it's pretty at least top heavy. I think it's a good class. I think at 18,
like 6 good.
What was last year's corner class considered?
It was very good as well.
So this one, like you see, like it was considered good, and we just got done talking about all these rookie cornerbacks that came out and balled.
Yep.
Right. So I'm looking at it could be the consistency, like we were talking about last segment about guys younger getting better, all the reps and stuff like this, and coming out. So it might be there. I mean, I'm going to go by what I was taught by Neil that sits there, draft capital, salary cap, is let me weigh the options, right, to whatever, which if that guy's there, and we had this conversation earlier, right, how high are you going to get him? Where it seems to me that 18th pick is more in the land of you're going to look for that corner. Money-wise, if Jalen Ramsey was the last piece to Spenny's point, right, if he was the final piece, just like what San Francisco did, Christian McCaffrey, can we agree, was the final piece?
Absolutely.
Right? And then, look, they just rip off wins since then. My big thing with the Jalen Ramsey, and I think you're right, Spenny, it's not now, but I think you're right too. We're having these conversations. Yeah. These conversations are legitimate for our team. Because what you said, Sam, is that we could make it work if we wanted. So at least we're at the table in these conversations. JB, I'd be interested in your opinion. Are you a Jalen Ramsey fan?
I was a Jalen Ramsey fan early on, but now I don't think he still has it anymore. I think there's something going on with him that he's in a slump right now. I don't know if coming to Detroit would actually be good for him or will be hurting him a little bit more. But as Spencer said, I'm not willing to give up that first round pick to try and see if Ramsey is still the Ramsey of old. So it's not in it for me.
No, absolutely. For me, the first question is does he want to be here? Right? You can't get by that. But I think that, and also too, let's go back to what we were talking about last segment about this team, about Aaron Glenn, about developing rookies and stuff like this. So to me, it plays out that they can draft a guy that they like and develop him. Imagine if they drafted Kirby Joseph when they did and developed him into what he was. What if they get a guy at the top of the draft that is expected to be one of these guys?
It would seem a little bit off-brand for Brad Holmes to make such a move at this time. He's proven that that he can build a team through the draft. I mean, he's had 2 excellent drafts in a row. I guess the only reason why I'm not 100% opposed to at least making the phone call to Los Angeles to inquire about a Jalen Ramsey is that the Lions, to me, and they proved it last year, are a little bit ahead of schedule. I mean, the defense for a 10-game sample size played really well. And Jalen Ramsey is a significant upgrade over a Jerry Jacobs or a Jeff Okudah. Would it put them over the top to be Super Bowl contenders? I don't know about that. But it's just nice to be in these sweepstakes because we look at the Lions as a team next year who I think we all expect to make the playoffs. We wouldn't be surprised at all if they win the NFC North. And theoretically, if they win the NFC, if you're a division champion, you're a Super Bowl contender. And Jalen Ramsey could help this team, I think, significantly right away. Is it worth the cost? That's the sort of conversations Brad Holmes is going to have. Could they draft someone that could develop and be a decent fraction of how good Jalen Ramsey is, but cheaper? Possibly. Brad Holmes has shown the ability to work his magic. At this point, as much as I kind of tried to give you the pros in the beginning, I wouldn't necessarily go after Jalen Ramsey, but I wouldn't be... the wheels are kind of turning in real time. It's one of the things I've been most conflicted about since I really started working here. It's a tough
but here's
one.
the whole thing, Sam, is when I'm going to take that the 30,000-foot view, is at least we're in the conversation.
Yes.
Like, you're legitimately, before to be like, no chance, no chance. Like, don't even have this conversation. Robert Close, you brought up a great point about the lack of Aaron Donald being around. Might have hurt Jalen Ramsey. A little bit hurts everybody else, but it got me to thinking is, when you want to rate now more of that money that needs to go to, don't we need that middle linebacker guy? Don't we need that field general or somebody to that point to disrupt in the middle that we see all the great teams, especially in the NFC, have?
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple of other options. I mean, the Lions could go after a Daron Payne. I wouldn't hate that at all. Or Spenny's guy, Trey Edmonds. And those are guys that you could get in free agency with Jalen Ramsey. You'd have to make a trade. You'd probably have to give up the 18th overall pick. So there's the Lions still, despite their defense playing a lot better towards the end of the year, they're not a finished product. They don't really have a whole lot of a veteran presence. So they're still young. You don't know if they'll be able to necessarily sustain it without kind of an upgrade. I think they will, but there's options out there for the Lions, and Jalen Ramsey, he may be an important piece, but he's also really damn expensive.
Where are we at with the poll?
It's 66% no,
okay.
34
yes.
yes.
See, and that's fine, but doesn't it make everybody feel better that at least you're in the conversation, that they got to come by your table and say, hey, you guys in on the... No, not right now. And I mean, it just tells me that this is more becoming the destination place, and this is real.
Yeah.
This is real, and the facts are the facts because the league is telling us. Now, I know it's award season all over the place, Oscars, all this stuff. We mentioned the Rookie of the Years, but it's also Coaches Award time. Somebody got recognized, somebody got stuffed. I don't know if you know which guy did and which guy didn't. We're going to talk about it when we come back. But, Sam, not lunch Swiss cheese, but Swiss insurance. Will you tell me about it?
JB.
I will tell you about
Swiss insurance, like I said.
All right. Be sure to check with Swiss Insurance this week for your commercial insurance review. Many businesses choose a January 1st effective date, and Swiss can help make sure you have the proper coverage. Email Mark right now at mark@swissins.com. Mark, give him a shot. Guarantee you he will not disappoint.
Can't get enough Woodward Sports content? Head over to woodwardsports.com right now for up-to-date sports articles and great entertainment news. We have the best writers, bloggers, and coverage all at your fingertips. Head to woodwardsports.com right now to experience all Woodward Sports has to offer.
By now you know me, Christina Gennari, as the obvious choice in real estate. And you know my website, soldchristina.com, as your #1 resource for buying or selling your home. Myself, along with my amazing staff, pride ourselves on making your home buying and selling experience a relaxing and easy one. Come see why we are the obvious choice. Christina Gennari at soldchristina.com, the obvious choice in real estate.
We aren't quite sure if they consume more beer or sports. Either way, the heavyweights are here. Live on Woodward Sports, daily 5 to 7 p.m.
Thanks for joining us this Thursday here. Big D Energy, D-Mac, Flannel Sam in for Heel Neil, Spenmo Rax, and JB working the TD. Yeah, flexing over there. You know who else was flexing in the AP finalists for the AP assistant coaches? Ben Johnson. Nominated for assistant coach of the year. Who else was in that category, Spenny?
The 49ers defensive coordinator, D'Amico Ryans, and the Eagles offensive coordinator, Shane Strickton.
And you know what? Can we not argue the fact that those are three very deserving... honestly, if I look at this, I think that it's going to go to 49ers defensive coach. What's his name?
D'Amico
Ryan. I think that when you watch... this San Francisco team play with the dogs they got on defense and the things that they can run. To me, they're the defense of what the Kansas City offense is when it's clicking on full cylinders. And even the San Fran, how they move everybody in, everybody out. Because it seems like they can have 7 guys cover 8 or 9.
Yeah, I mean, with the rules the way they are that favor the offense, you don't necessarily expect to see dominant defenses. But when the 49ers get it humming with the guys like Nick Bosa or Fred Warner or Greenlaw, they, to me, when they're all at full strength, when they're playing their best, they are a dominant defense.
No, they are. But, you know what, let's talk about our guy, though. Because you know what, it looks like, right, this Lions team, like getting a lot of props and accolades for not being a playoff team. But they are getting the respect. I think the biggest thing here is you're talking about the two teams that are playing in the NFC Championship, and then you have the guy in his first year, first and a half year, being out there getting the respect. I mean, to me, this is huge. Yes. This isn't, the regular guys and stuff like this. They stepped out of the norm. So the juice and the heat towards Ben Johnson being a hot topic, for him not taking the interview, not going and being back here, and we know, like, whatever he resigned, but he's going to be here this next year. I think there's not only inside the building, but the league, sees it this way, how talented he is. But I think that, as it should, as not being a playoff team, you're getting the smell. Your players are getting a little bit of the accolade. But you know what? Just like Talladega Nights,
Mm-hmm.
There's only one.
You ain't first, your last.
You ain't first, your last, right? So, but I think this is just something, as we're looking for the building blocks and looking for, as we're building, this is a huge, huge prop.
Yeah, and even though the other two finalists are members of the 49ers and Eagles coaching staff who are meeting in the NFC Championship, Ben Johnson absolutely deserves to be in consideration, and I would have no problem with him winning it. I want to take you Lions fans back to a dark day in history. It wasn't that long ago, but it seems like ages ago. Halloween, October 31st of 2021. What happened on that day? The Lions suffered a humiliating 44-6 home loss to the Philadelphia Eagles. They were 0-8. Anthony Lynn was leading the offense, and they were averaging 16.8 points per game, which is absolutely morbid. They were 0-8. They looked directionless. They looked rudderless. But a move was made. Anthony Lynn was demoted. And who was empowered by Dan Campbell? A little man by the name of Ben Johnson, and I say little for effect.
Now, I'm going to let you keep going, but was it not when they fired Dan Campbell and Ben Johnson were like the team last year together? But this was the introduction of Ben Johnson, right? What did the offense do for the remainder of the games that year?
Well, it improved dramatically. For the first 3 games, they were still floundering a little bit. One of those games, Tim Boyle was the starting quarterback, so I'm not going to put it against them. But then they figured it out. They got their first win, which just happened to be on a game-winning touchdown pass from Jared Goff to Amon-Ra St. Brown, who was definitely a sign of things to come. And then they basically steal the souls of the Arizona Cardinals. They've never been the same since, and they've scored 30 points in that game. And then another sign of things to come, the last game of the season. I know the Packers weren't playing for anything, but the Lions beat them 37-30. And another sign of things to come, as you see what they did to the Packers this year. Their sort of ownership of the Packers started in Week 18 of last season. And what the offense has done this year for the Detroit Lions, 5th in scoring offense, 26.6 points per game, which is a big leap over the Anthony Lynn doldrum days.
I'd say.
And an absolutely absurd 33.1 points per game at home. And I know the home road splits don't always look too flattering, but when you want to be that team that's up and coming and a contender, you got to win at home. You have to sort of go 6-2, 7-1 at home. That's what the dominant teams do. And look how Jared Goff played this year. He had arguably the best season of his career. He had one of the best seasons any Detroit Lions player has ever had. Amon-Ra St. Brown, starting at the end of last season, has turned into a star, and this season, 1,000 yards, in contention for a Pro Bowler. Jamal Williams at running back, 1,000-yard season, and he broke a single-season Barry Sanders record for the Lions. I know it was on a lot of one-yard touchdown runs, but still, that's incredible. That's a Barry Sanders record. The offensive line was elite. So what Ben Johnson has done, sort of turning around an offense that was stuck in the mud, kind of being empowered during a time where the Lions were 0-8, looking at possibly a winless season. What he has done, Ben Johnson being empowered, we're going to look back at that one day as, in my opinion, the turning point of this franchise. So Ben Johnson, even over DeMeco Ryans, I would probably put him as coordinator of the year.
Okay, fair, great argument. Everything you said is factual. Spenny, do you think Ben Johnson's got a chance? Do you think Sam's right that he's got an opportunity to win this, or where are you at?
I agree with him. I think it depends on how you look at it, but Ben Johnson did the most with the least. You look at the 49ers defense, it's littered with Pro Bowl players. You have the best player in football in Nick Bosa. You have the best linebacker in football in Fred Warner. Another two great linebackers alongside Fred Warner with Greenlaw and Al-Sayer. So they have a bunch of studs. You look at the Eagles' offense, fantastic offensive line, obviously great pieces on the outside, and a guy who was, before he got hurt, leading the MVP contention in Jalen Hurts. So I think Ben Johnson did the most with the least, and I definitely think he deserves some credit and should be the front runner for this award, in my opinion.
No, I love it too. But here's the opposite end of the spectrum, right? Where we were talking a lot of the year with the way that the Lions ended, the way that they were coached. But Dan Campbell, he unfortunately didn't make it on the finalists. Do you think that that's a snub? First of all, Spenny, who are the finalists for Coach of the Year?
The finalists for the Coaches of the Year are Sean McDermott from the Bills, Doug Peterson from the Jaguars, Brian Daboll from the Giants, and Kyle Shanahan from the 49ers.
Ooh. So, yes, playoff teams, two underachieved teams. What's everybody? I don't know if you realize this, but at one point weren't the 49ers 3-4?
Yes.
Right? And I know what they have, but they made that move to get Christian McCaffrey and put him off to the races, and the adversity that they faced. And I think Kyle Shanahan should be the front runner because why? Mm-hmm. They got Mr. Irrelevant as quarterback, and there has to be something to that. Like to me, a lot of times, you're looking for all those guys. What Daboll did with the Giants, right? Which you got to give him the check mark ahead of us as the Lions because he got them there. We didn't. Doug Peterson, we see the culture's changed in Jacksonville. That's a different team. Even going down with the fight, that they're going to be back. So I think I would say right now I would give it to Kyle Shanahan, and that's just – because a lot of times we're like with Philly and stuff like that, they got out to the big lead, they did what they needed, and they sort of coasted, and I think that they lose marks for that in some people's eyes. Mm-hmm. What San Francisco has done and continue to do, so I'm going to give, I appreciate all of them. I don't look at it as a snub to Dan Campbell. I'm sure if they made the playoffs, he'd be on that list, but he would have got an honorable mention by me.
Yeah, that's the key to the whole Dan Campbell conversation, because I don't believe he got snubbed either. I think when you look at Brian Daboll and Doug Peterson, those were one-year turnarounds from terrible teams to playoff teams, and especially with Doug Peterson sort of resurrecting Trevor Lawrence after a disastrous rookie season in the Urban Meyer situation. It's proved that wasn't Trevor Lawrence's fault. And then Kyle Shanahan. I mean, when you talk about the San Francisco 49ers, even when it was Jimmy Garoppolo, we all know that it's more Kyle Shanahan's system than anybody. And obviously they got Christian McCaffrey, who's ultra talented. They have a lot of weapons, Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk, and George Kittle. But it's been, like you said, a Mr. Irrelevant quarterback, which ever since he stepped on the field, the 49ers haven't lost either, and he's led them to 2 playoff wins. But I think a lot of that is because of Kyle Shanahan's system, most of that. And I don't think we should take him for granted. And then even Sean McDermott, I look at him as somebody that a lot of people don't think should be on the list. But it's a regular season award. The Buffalo Bills did everything that they were supposed to do in the regular season, going 13-3, and even Nick Sirianni. The improvement that the Philadelphia Eagles made from last year. I mean, it could be roster upgrades. There's a lot of reasons, and Jalen Hurts obviously looks better, but you got to give him credit. They were a team that got bounced in the first round last year, and then this year, #1 seed. And with Dan Campbell, unfortunately, he's going to get dinged for me for not leading the team to the playoffs. It was obviously a great season. He led them to 3 wins the previous year and tripled it and went to 9 this year. But I also want to caution some Lions fans, and I've been guilty of this too. I don't think Dan Campbell should get credit for sort of helping them climb out of the hole that he helped build. I give him credit for the team not quitting on him when they were 1-6 and for them playing for him. But he has to get a little bit of a ding for helping put the team in such of a hole that even with an 8-2 finish, they couldn't make the playoffs. So to me, Dan Campbell was not snubbed, but he did a damn good job, and I think he's going to be the coach for this team for many years to come.
Well, that's the whole point, too, and Dan Campbell himself said that he didn't do enough to deserve it.
Yeah.
And one of the things, too, is that the award is for Coach of the Year, not exceeding expectations.
Yes.
Because I probably would agree the expectations that were exceeded the most, probably the Giants, but I think the coaching job that Shanahan did with everything in consideration. And here's the one thing too, when you're supposed to be, when you are the front runner, because what's the difference, right? And the only person out there, and I know they didn't vote in the playoffs and stuff like that, but you look at San Francisco getting through because they have some of the same dysfunction that Buffalo has. Buffalo still got it, but you see San Francisco seeing to work it out. I think Buffalo looking at San Fran to see how they exercise their demons. To me, that's coaching. Starts at the top. That's why it's Shanahan.
Yeah, and even more so to that, and I think we forget about this, this was supposed to be the year that Trey Lance took over, and he got injured in the second game of the season. And then Jimmy Garoppolo, who'd been their sort of steady game manager type starter, he got hurt midway through the year, and the offense continued to hum and even looked better with Mr. Irrelevant as their quarterback. And that's because even with all of the talent that they have, the most valuable piece on the San Francisco 49ers is Kyle Shanahan and his offensive system. He's been an offensive wizard ever since his days back in Atlanta, except for blowing that 28-3 lead. But other than that, one of the most brilliant offensive minds in the game, and the teams have shown it. The regular seasons have been excellent. They made a Super Bowl with the 49ers. They lost it. They kind of blew that one too. Other than blowing Super Bowl leads, Kyle Shanahan's resume is pretty much impeccable.
No, I love it. No, the fact that it is, and it's interesting, and you got the top 4 teams playing this weekend. All those coaches are all deserving and stuff like that. So, it's something that we'll see. Who's the odds-on favorite, Spenny?
I think it's Kyle Shanahan. I really do. It'll probably be Dable, but it should be Kyle Shanahan.
Okay, that is all right. When we come back, you know what? I want to talk. I want to keep it in. I got a question for everybody. A quick question, because I think this ties in to talking about the coaches. It ties into the rookie, and it ties into our team. But first, where are we going to work out after the show, Sam?
Well, of course, we're going to Planet Fitness. How I get those? Planet Fitness is the official studio sponsor of Woodward Sports. Also home of the Judgment Free Zone, where you can work out for only $10 a month, or upgrade to the Black Card for unlimited guest privileges, hydro massage, and more. Join in club today, or go to planetfitness.com. It's Planet Fitness, where Darren McCarty.
Your fitness is essential.
Love Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Beverly Hills Golf, Woodward Golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today.
At work and at home, we're there with smarter security solutions. Featuring complete automation with customized alerts and more. For over 90 years, we've been the company that's been counted on to protect what matters most, all with personalized service and care. Right now, for a limited time, receive a free video device plus free installation with a new home system. Guardian Alarm. We protect Michigan.
3 NBA championships. Detroit fans were there. 11 Stanley Cups. Detroit fans were there. 4 World Series wins. Detroit fans were there. And that one Lions playoff win in 1991? Yeah, Detroit fans were there. Woodward Sports, where the fans are.
The holidays might be over, but the Monroe Street Midway is still going strong. The Midway has swapped roller skating, basketball, and mini golf for a giant Arctic slide, winter bumper cars, an indoor arcade, and puck putt. With free entry into the site, enjoy a variety of new activities after the holiday season aimed at creating exceptional winter experiences for everyone. Get to the Midway this winter to enjoy tasty treats and make magical memories during the most wonderful time of the year. Check out deckedoutdetroit.com for all your information, and we will see you at the Midway.
Top of the hour here Thursday. Big D Energy, Darren McCarty, Flannel Sam, Spenmo Rax, JB in today. Thanks for slumming it again, JB. Appreciate it. Appreciate the bottom line lending you your services to us. But you know it and you love it. It's a Thursday. We got the nickel packages. 5 questions about the Detroit Lions. I hand it over to you, Flannel Sam.
All right. I will do the Detroit Lions. Okay, so question number 1, first down. Should the Lions take another edge rusher in the first round?
Unfortunately, I don't see them getting Will Anderson. Jalen Carter's not an edge rusher. He plug up the middle. I'm going to say that it comes down to, unless somebody falls or somebody does something really crazy in the combine, I think that their needs might be elsewhere, and then they can get that guy as they've proven later in the draft, hence James Houston. Not saying there's a James Houston out there, but I think there's more talent, like you said. And when we talked about talent getting better younger, there's more of a quantity of it. It's just not 1 or 2 guys.
Yeah, for me, I would probably say no. To me, the perfect first-round draft would be at 6, assuming there's no trades. I like Brian Brzee out of Clemson. He's a defensive tackle. I think that's a need that they could plug and play right away. And then at 18, one of the corners. I would think that a Devon Witherspoon, Joey Porter Jr., Kelly Ringo, or Christian Gonzalez, one of them has to be available.
Ringo won't be there.
I know Ringo won't be there, but someone I think might.
I like Porter
Witherspoon.
Jr., and I think you hear it all the time, but he's somebody. Spenny?
I think so, honestly. I looked at this, and I think it's deeper. I like Tyree Wilson. I think the gap between where they get an edge rusher at 6 and where they would get an edge rusher at like 18 is much different than the gap between a cornerback at 6 and a cornerback at 18. So I wouldn't mind them going edge rusher. But second question of the Lions nickel package: who finishes with more receiving yards next season, Amon-Ra St. Brown or Jameson Williams?
I'm going to go on the side of caution and give JMO 1 year under the Amon-Ra St. Brown belt, full season. I think that the security blanket, I think Amon-Ra St. Brown consistency, day in, day out, until JMO shows me that, until the system, the game plan and stuff like this shows me that, how they're going to use them. Am I going to see them used like a CD Lamb? Am I going to see how many balls? One of the big complaints, and we understand why, because of injury, is why maybe he wasn't used or there wasn't that many shots late in the season. So I'll go St. Brown, maybe regrouped, and that's this one a year from now.
Yeah, I will go with Amon-Ra St. Brown as well, but I do believe, and I don't know if this is a hot take or not, that they will both go for over 1,000 yards next season. It's just with Amon-Ra St. Brown, you're right. Jared Goff, that's his favorite target. That's one of the most lethal combinations in all of the NFL, that Jared Goff to Amon-Ra St. Brown combination in that Ben Johnson offense. They've had that chemistry pretty much since Ben Johnson was a bigger part of that offense last season. And with Jameson Williams, as much as I believe in him, as much as my expectations are high for him, he's still relatively an unknown. We didn't see much. He was pretty much a non-factor on this team last year. And Amon-Ra St. Brown already emerged as a star, as arguably a top 10 receiver in the NFL. I would put him there. So to me, you got to go with Amon-Ra St. Brown for now.
Yeah, I think that's obviously the safer pick. We'll see. Yeah, if they get the ball to J-Mo Moore, he might rack up more yards, but Amon-Ra is going to be.
It was he was more of a concept car about something. You took it out. You got to take it out to the speedway out in Pontiac there, run it around. Not on the streets yet. We'll see him on the streets this year.
Yeah. Next question of the Lions nickel package. Obviously, Jared Goff had a fantastic year this year. The one thing he did the best that I was surprised the most about was take care of the football. How many over-under on interceptions for Jared Goff next season? I was going to put it at 10 originally, but I think the over on that would be 10 interceptions is a great year as well. So 12. Over-under 12 interceptions for Jared Goff next season. We'll say 11.5.
I'm going to go with the consistency, I'm going to take the under. I think that, 17 game, what he's proven is he protected the ball this year. He did some things that we didn't see him in the past, the things that you yourself have been critical of, which with new information, we can change our opinion. So I think my opinion is I think he's confident, he's learned, he's protected better. He doesn't, really put those balls up in play. Now, here's the thing. If they're taking more deep shots down the field with Jameson Williams, there's more of an opportunity and a chance. So I guess it's how if it's done. But I think that the consistency of what the game plan Ben Johnson's shown is that, I think it's about 9 or 10. So I'm going to go under.
I'm going to go under as well, and the main reason is because, and I know we're all ecstatic about it and still on a high about it, Ben Johnson is back. Ever since Ben Johnson has been inserted into this offense, Jared Goff has been a borderline elite quarterback, and one of the reasons why is because he doesn't turn the football over. He didn't last year, he didn't in the latter part of 2021. So to me, Jared Goff just knows how to run this Ben Johnson offense like a maestro. I understand that the Jameson Williams effect, he might throw the ball down the field a little bit more, and he did show sort of a difficulty at hitting them sometimes in those deep shots, and maybe a couple might get underthrown for interceptions. But Jared Goff, at least with the Lions and for much of his time with the Rams, he really hasn't been as interception prone as maybe he gets a rap for. So to me, 12, absolutely under. I would go under 10.
Yeah, I'm gonna go over. I just think having only 7 interceptions on the year is insane. He had a fantastic year. I think it'll be really hard for him to repeat that performance. And like you said, D-Mac, they're going to be pushing the ball down the field more next year with the emergence of Jameson Williams. I still think he'll have a great year, but I'm going to go over 11.5 on the interceptions. Next up, more likely to make the Pro Bowl next season, Amon-Ra St. Brown or Aiden Hutchinson?
I mean, it made me think, but I go with Amon-Ra St. Brown. Consistencies, volume of catches. I mean, he's a 100-catch guy, 1,000-yard guy. The consistency of him, I think there's a lot of. It's a tough one because I could see both of them, right? But I'm going to go Amon-Ra St. Brown. I'm not going to put that pressure on Hutch, but if you think Hutch is going to get double digits in sacks and be there for forced fumbles and interceptions, it could be him too. So hopefully both of them. But I'll go Amon-Ra St. Brown to make a pick.
I could see them both making it as well, but I'm going to go with Aiden Hutchinson.
Of course you were.
Yay, to the shock of absolutely no one. Because to me, Amon-Ra St. Brown, I think his ceiling for next year is to put up numbers similar to what he did this year, like 100-something catches, 1,100-something yards, single-digit touchdowns, which is a damn good year and top 10 wide receiver type numbers. But I think he's going to split some of those numbers with a Jameson Williams. I think they're going to be sort of even with their production. And Aiden Hutchinson, you know what, Spenny? You said yesterday that you could see him getting 13.5 sacks. Mm-hmm. You know what? Right here, right now, I'm calling for it next year. 13.5 sacks for Aiden Hutchinson. That is a Pro Bowl type season, and it's not crazy. He had 9.5 his rookie season, and for I'd say 4 or 5 or 6 of those games, maybe even more, he just looked a little bit out of sorts. He was over pursuing. He had some rookie growing pains that he had to go through, but those should be gone by year 2. Yeah. He's a smart player, and he's a damn good player, and he has a high upside. So 13.5, I expect him to get that, and those are absolutely Pro Bowl numbers. Give me Aiden Hutchinson.
Spenny, before you get to the 5th question, future question, right? How many sacks combined do you expect? Because when you're saying 13.5, isn't Houston going to take away some of that? So I look at them more like Houston getting more opportunity, opening up Hutch, but it works both ways, and we saw that. So whether he hits that or he doesn't, the opportunity, I think, the question is, what's the over-under on the combo?
Yeah.
Because
20?
look at the combo this year, right? I'm just saying, because I don't want, how many times you see defensive guy, the one guy do all the work and he runs them into the other guy and he gets the sack. What I'm saying is I look at it as a team thing, not a specific this one guy.
Yeah, I put 20.5 as the
That's a good number. Question 5.
Question 5, and I agree with Sam, honestly. I think it's going to be Hutchinson because Amon-Ra, the wide receiver,
in tough class,
wide
right?
receiver position is loaded, although the edge rushers is too, but I think Hutch can squeak it out. Next, final question of the nickel package. Kirby Joseph had a fantastic season. He started off on the bench, but when he got back into the starting position, he was making plays all year. Over under on interceptions for Kirby Joseph, 5.5.
Ooh, I am 5.5. I'm gonna go under, and it's because 6 interceptions was the leading interceptor this year. That was, I think, a bunch of people were tied for 6, and the 2 safeties that had 6 were Minkah Fitzpatrick and C.J. Gardner-Johnson, a.k.a. 2 of the best safeties in the NFL. Maybe Minkah Fitzpatrick is the best safety in the NFL. Kirby Joseph obviously showed a propensity to be a ball hawk, to create turnovers, but I think that's a lot to ask in his second year to basically lead the NFL in interceptions. And in the modern NFL, interceptions, quarterbacks don't throw them as much as they did back in the day. So 6 is a lot. So I think he'll have 4 or 5. Still a good year, but I would take the under 5.5.
Benny?
I'm gonna go over. I think he'll be at 6, maybe more. You see, he is a ball hawk. He's making plays. You put Tracy Walker back into that situation with him out there. That'll help him grow as a player. The Lions' pass rush is going to be better than it was last year, so they're going to have more opportunities for quick throws, hurrying the quarterback, and mistakes made. So I'm gonna go over on the interceptions for Kirk.
I'm gonna do the old head heart bet. I'm gonna say under. Right, and hope I lose.
Yes.
Right, so I'd be happy if I lose. To your point, you both make great points. Right, we'll wait and see. But I think more so is that when you see the league, the interceptions are more spread out. You know, it's tough at safety. But if anybody can do it, it's this guy who's a ball hawk. But I'll say, because it matters to this, right? I'll say the under. You know what? At Alta, uptime matters. That's for sure. Alta Equipment has everything you need to get the job done. You have a bog project coming up. Alta Rent, they got you covered. Call them today, 844. Go to Alta. That's 844. Go to Alta.
Love Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Beverly Hills Golf, Woodward Golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today.
As chilly weather approaches, Big Boy's got the perfect comfort meals for you. Try our hearty classic meatloaf or our creamy Cajun chicken Alfredo. These will be sure to leave you craving for more. How about breakfast? Our stuffed potato pancakes are back with our lumberjack, blockbuster, and Santa Fe Garden. These potato pancakes will definitely fill you up. Whether it's for breakfast, lunch, or dinner, come stock up on the perfect comfort meal today. We'll see you soon at Big Boy.
We aren't quite sure if they consume more beer or sports. Either way, the heavyweights are here. Live on Woodward Sports, daily 5 to 7 p.m.
The Foaling Warehouse in Hamtramck is the home of the original football bowling pig game called Foaling. Multiple different ways you can play. They've got $12 open unlimited play and private lane reservation for $120. If you get thirsty, they got a $2 mystery beer vending machine and multiple fully loaded bars for you to choose from. So make sure you go check them out in Hamtramck or visit them online at foalingwarehouse.com.
Welcome back, Big D Energy. Just getting through the nickel packages. We're going to get to the nickel package NFL playoff edition here real quick. But, you know, all these numbers, like, to me, when we go through all these stuff about the Lions and stuff about expectations, it goes to the same thing as the Jalen Ramsey conference. Like, things are changing. The culture's changing. We're putting these expectations with your numbers at the top of the league and putting Pro Bowl conversations, and it's legit.
Yep.
You feel that?
Yeah, I mean, the Lions, unlike Lions teams of the past, they're ahead of schedule. They won more games than I think all of us picked. I mean, I picked them to win 8 before the year. I know a lot of people picked like 7. I think, Spenny, you picked 7. So just having them have a winning record, and then in year 3, I think all of our expectations are playoffs and possibly a division title, hosting a playoff game at Ford Field. It's it's so much more fun being a Lions fan than it was even a year and a half ago. It's
year and a half
crazy
ago. How about friggin' 4 months ago?
Right, when they were 1-6.
Oof. Gosh, do you remember those suicide watch or what the heck we were going to do?
Talking about tanks in the streets.
Like all of us sit here going, like we all love Dan Campbell, but is he the right choice? I mean, did they do it? So it's that perseverance, and I agree with the chat. Whoever said it, is the Lions truly are laying in the weeds right now. But talking about playoffs, hoping we host a playoff game. That'll be next year. Let's get to the NFL playoff nickel package, Spenmo.
All right, first question of the NFL playoff nickel package. Which quarterback is under the most pressure going in to championship weekend?
Wow. I'm going to say that's a bit interesting. Who's under you know what? It's tough to say, like to me, but I think Patrick Mahomes. Ooh. I think even though he's hurt and we saw him out there, he didn't look bad, stretching, walking, stuff like this. Like I said, I've had a high ankle sprain and it doesn't look as bad. But what Joe Burrow did last year, what Cincinnati did, I think, it's one of these things that, yeah, he's the best. They're the greatest. They have this team, but it's Kansas City, and I think that they're starting to feel that pressure a little bit. And the way that Cincinnati's attitude is from their coach, Zach Thomas, their defensive coordinator, really their quarterback, it's that they don't give a shit. They do not care. This is what they do. They go in and ruin dreams.
That is true, but for me, I'm actually going to go with Joe Burrow. I think there's been a little bit of premature crowning. Obviously, I think that if the Cincinnati Bengals go into Arrowhead again and win and go back to a Super Bowl, that would be huge. But the reason I don't think it's Patrick Mahomes is because he already cashed one in. The Bengals went to the Super Bowl last year and lost, and I don't think people quite grasp how big of a missed opportunity that was. I mean, the Bengals had so many chances to put that game away. I mean, they threw that long touchdown to T. Higgins, which was obviously offensive pass interference. Joe Burrow threw that, and they took a 17-13 lead. Then the Rams threw an interception. The Bengals got a field goal, and pretty much the Bengals had 4 times to put that game away, and they didn't do it. That was a missed opportunity. The reason I say it's Joe Burrow is because he hasn't cashed one in. Patrick Mahomes already has.
That's fair. And that's fair. I'm just looking at it as if you want to be a true dynasty, these are the games that you win. What about you, Spenny?
I agree with you, D-Mac. I think it's Mahomes. Mahomes has the monkey on his back of not being able to beat Burrow. If he goes 0-4 against Joe Burrow, that's big.
That's big. I don't care what it is, It doesn't matter. There's certain matchups, and a lot of it too is that defensive, like you mentioned, the defensive scheme that is drawn up.
Yeah.
But the team. All right, question 2.
Question 2 of the nickel package for the NFL playoffs. Which coach is under the most pressure going into championship weekend?
I'm gonna go with Kyle Shanahan. I think it's Kyle Shanahan because Sam so subtly legend killed the fact that, well, other than that 28-3 lead in halftime at the Super Bowl, I mean, you're pretty good. No, I mean, he knows it. All of this, they're supposed to be there. He is that great of a coach, but until you, along your same lines as your argument of Joe Burrow and getting it done, he still hasn't proven it.
Yeah.
Almost to get there. So to me, it's Kyle Shanahan.
Yeah, to me, it's Kyle Shanahan, and it's not even close. I mean, especially even going into this year. They traded for Christian McCaffrey because they wanted to go all in. For all the accolades, for all the love that we give Kyle Shanahan, they went to a Super Bowl and lost. A Super Bowl in which the 49ers had a 20-10 lead and the ball in the fourth quarter, and they lost by double digits in that game. That was a missed opportunity. Last year, if Jaquiski Tartt picks that ball off, they probably go to a Super Bowl, but he didn't, and they didn't. So Kyle Shanahan, for all of the accolades, for all of the run he gets as an offensive genius, which he is, he needs to win a Super Bowl. Andy Reid is already a made man because he won one in Kansas City. Nick Sirianni is up and coming, and Zach Taylor, he's another one. He's up and coming. To me, it's Kyle Shanahan, not a close second.
Yeah, I'm going to say it's Nick Sirianni.
Wow.
I think even though it's his first year as NFL head coach, they had all the favorites. They were the number 1 seed in the NFC. They have the starter. They have the home game. And there's a lot riding on them winning because they did the same thing as the 49ers and go all in, make all these trades, bring all these guys in. So I think it's Sirianni because Kyle Shanahan, as great as this run is, as much as the 49ers, I think, are going to win the game. Personally, I think the 49ers do win. But Sirianni, this is his era. This is his golden time. This is the best team he's going to have for a while. So he needs to cash in. Next question. Who do you predict will be the AFC Championship game MVP? AFC.
You know what? I will start this one.
Well, I wonder who Sam's going to say.
I wonder who. Patrick Mother Bleepin' Mahomes, of course, because the AFC Championship has turned into the Arrowhead Invitational. And Patrick Mahomes, already at such a young age, is one of the best postseason quarterbacks of all time. And on a per-game basis, absolutely. He's already top 10 in postseason touchdown passes, and this is only his 5th postseason. He delivers when the moment... I mean, besides for last year's AFC Championship in the second half and the Super Bowl where he had no tackles and was hounded the whole game, Patrick Mahomes has pretty much been a great postseason quarterback. And I expect the Chiefs to win, even though he is hobbled. And to me, it's going to take a big effort out of Patrick Mahomes, and I think he'll do it. I think he'll throw for 3 touchdown passes and at least 250 yards. Give me Patrick Mahomes to the surprise of absolutely no one.
See, I think if Kansas City wins, Kelsey will have to be the bell cow.
Who's going to get him the ball?
What's that?
Who's going to get him the ball?
I understand that, but when he has 3 touchdowns for whatever because he's carried it on his back and 3 guys down, that's the way that they're going to win. I think that there's, with the ankle and there's some mobility. We've seen Patrick Mahomes play injured before, not very well. So to me, to combat that is the guy that you're talking about before. I got Cincinnati winning. I'm going Joe Burrow, baby. Burrow.
I like it.
Joe Daddy's time.
I like it. I like it. I like it. I was thinking, Burrow or maybe Chase, because I do think the Bengals are winning. But I'm going to take a dark horse. Trey Hendrickson will be the MVP of the AFC Championship game. Okay. He's going to get to Mahomes. He's going to have 2.5 sacks on the game. He is going to have a forced fumble, and he's going to make some plays. Give me Trey Hendrickson as a dark horse. Yeah. Next up, same question, but for the NFC Championship game.
Make sure you put 5 on it.
That would probably be pretty good odds. Who do you think will be the MVP of the NFC Championship game?
You know what? I'm going to start. I am going to go with Christian McCaffrey. Christian McCaffrey is one of those mid-season acquisitions that has worked out about as well as you can expect. This is Kyle Shanahan's chance to finally have a star running back in the backfield to kind of help with that system. He's looked pretty much unstoppable. They've been undefeated since he's been there, and in the Kyle Shanahan system, it's made guys like Raheem Mostert and Elijah Mitchell look like stars, and Christian McCaffrey is actually a star. When he's playing his best, he's arguably the best running back, most complete running back in the NFL, and I think he will show out. I think he will have over 70 rushing yards, maybe 40 receiving yards, a touchdown or 2, and the 49ers will win. Give me Christian McCaffrey for the NFC MVP, championship game MVP.
So what kind of game do you think that's gonna? Do you think it's gonna be a high-scoring game, or do you think it's gonna be a smash mouth? What I think it's a defensive turnover intense, right? Like this. So I'm going defense. I'm going more on your line what you did before, but I'm going Fred Warner. Fred Warner having an impact. We saw it last week when you got your middle linebacker that can run with one of the fastest wide receivers and make a play on the ball downfield. This guy can do everything. I think that this is, and it'll be interesting early to me to set the tone, because if they can get the body. Now, Philly does a great job protecting Hurts, but if they can get the body, or if they get him scrambling, they get a shot on him, I don't think he's as healthy as he needs to be, but proved it last week. So I'm going Fred Warner.
I like it. I'm going another dark horse. Kyle Juszczyk. No, I'm just kidding. I'm going to go with Nick Bosa. I think with the same rationale as Trey Hendrickson, I think Nick Bosa gets after Jalen Hurts. I think he has two plus sacks, makes some things happen, maybe forces a turnover. So give me Nick Bosa, because he is the best player in the NFL this season. Next up, final question of the NFL Playoff Nickel Package. This season's Super Bowl matchup will be ... Well,
I'm going to go with the Chiefs and the 49ers, a rematch of 2019, again, to the surprise of absolutely no one. It was the bridesmaids last year who both lost their conference championship games. To me, I know Patrick Mahomes is hobbled. I know that a high ankle sprain, it's going to be tough to come back from, but he is still the best quarterback in the NFL. Their running game has looked great with Isaiah Pacheco. He's probably been the best running back that Patrick Mahomes has played with. They still have Kelsey. That defense, I think, can get a couple of timely stops. And the 49ers, they have the best defense in the NFL. I think for one of the first times all year, that defense is gonna give Jalen Hurts some fits. They're not gonna let Miles Sanders run all over them. Give me the Chiefs, 49ers in the Super Bowl rematch, 2019.
I like it.
San Francisco, I've been riding that pony train. I mean, I have the belt. Maybe I'll bring the belt in tomorrow just to show you off because, there is only one Feldman Championship belt winner in here for the picks for the year. So San Fran, obviously, I'm going there. But Joe Burrow, back-to-back, I think Cincinnati, there's something there. And then it comes down to it. But again, I think that the home field with Kansas City balances out the injury to Patrick Mahomes, so it's going to be a dogfight. I think it comes down, could be an overtime game, but I think Cincinnati finds a way to pull it off.
Yeah, I'm with you, D-Mac. I'm going Cincy and San Fran. Joe Burrow is not scared of Arrowhead. Joe Burrow is not scared of Patrick Mahomes, and he does his best work in the biggest games. I love Joe Burrow, love the Bengals. Bengals win the Super Bowl. And it's going to be Bengals versus Niners.
Bengals, Niners. JB, let me go to you for this question, dude. Who do you got winning this weekend, both games?
Oh, I think I'm going to have to lean with Spencer on this one. Super Bowl will be Bengals versus 49ers. So, Joe Burrow, ice water in his veins. I can't go against him. I'm sorry, Flannel.
Don't be sorry, Flannel. Never be sorry. Like, you hear what this guy does to legends around here?
That's fair.
You heard his Ben Wallace take, right?
Oh yes.
Okay, and you're going to apologize to a guy who has a take like that? No. The fact that he loves Patrick Mahomes is going down. It's a fact.
That's all fine, but since when did Joe Burrow all of a sudden become prime Joe Montana?
Oh,
the way that people are coordinating him is a little crazy.
I was going on the fact that they got a pretty damn good team.
Yeah, and Joe
Burrow I think that defense is going to. And Joe Burrow makes plays when he needs to happen.
I think
you're just bitter because you know what, the AFC is going to go through Cincinnati, not Kansas City.
Joe Burrow's the second best quarterback in the league, but he's still second, not first.
Guess what? Patrick Mahomes has never beat him.
Hey, the Cincinnati Bengals. I'm not going to say Joe Burrow. I'm going to say the Cincinnati Bengals.
If Patrick Mahomes does lose, Sam, who are you going to have to talk to about it? Oh, wait, that's me.
I'm going to have to talk to
who you going to get? Hey, you know what? If Kansas City loses, Spencer, you got a number for Sam,
I got a number for Sam, and that is SMA or the Sports Marketing Agency, because the Sports Marketing Agency helps spread awareness about mental health and substance abuse. Their new podcast, This is the S Word, helps fight the stigma about seeking help. So if you or someone you know is struggling, make sure you head to thesportsma.com to get the help you deserve.
Love Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on Shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Beverly Hills Golf, Woodward Golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today.
Introducing the Planet Fitness Guide to getting that post-workout glow. Step 1. What's your why? More epic energy? Better sleep? Blow off steam? Step 2. Join Planet Fitness for just $10 a month and get moving in our clean and spacious clubs. Step 3. Bask in that post-workout glow. Join Planet Fitness today for just $10 a month.
Join today at any of the 50-plus Detroit area locations.
We don't like to brag that we are the toughest sports network in Detroit, but we do have a guy named Darren McCarty on our side.
Lemieux and McCarty, who've had a good knockdown drag up. There they go, right on the whistle, baby, talking to one another.
Woodward Sports.
Downtown Detroit is all decked out this season, winter season, with the return of the Cadillac Lodge and the Monroe Street Midway. The Midway has a giant slide, winter bumper cars, and indoor arcade. Plus, you can grab drinks at the Lodge before or after Red Wings or Pistons home games. Shop, eat, and play downtown with DeckedOutDetroit.com.
Big D Energy here on a Thursday, just getting through the nickel packages. A lot of good things. I mean, I feel better about being a Lions fan even today, and I felt good coming in. Like, you guys actually opened a lot of things up. One of the things I want to talk about, right, and it was on the sheet yesterday, and we're going to get to it now. The Hall of Fame, right? The Hall of Fame. For the Baseball Hall of Fame had just announced, and I saw on Twitter, and if you follow Darren McCarty 4 on Twitter, I resent Scott Rowland, third baseman, World Series champion. I believe he has MVP. The fact that he was inducted, but they showed, and this is pretty cool because he's got to be around my age, probably in the late 40s, early 50s, right? And they showed a video of him going home to his parents who are still alive and telling them that they made the Hall of Fame, and his dad, who's older, is in a walker. But man, that just got me right in the feels, just about how it takes that's the end of the journey of, years and years and years in the sacrifice. So everybody out there who puts into anybody else, and it's not about being a Hall of Famer and stuff like that. It's about being, a good human, compassionate human being. But I thought that was good. But the bad part of it, God damn it. What's a bigger snub for the Hall of Fame, the Baseball Hall of Fame? Lou Whitaker or the Hockey Hall of Fame, Chris Osgood? Because I think that we get slapped fuck in the face in this town when it comes to these two guys, right? And I'm not saying be a first ballot Hall of Famer. I was fine with that. But gosh darn it, man, isn't it time? And it's a freaking joke. The numbers are the numbers, Sam. If I was going to ask, so you're so that means that you, the legend killer, obviously don't think that they both should be in the Hall of Fame. But let me ask you, does one of them at least deserve to be in the Hall of Fame in your opinion?
If there was a bigger snub, and for the record, I'm not saying that they shouldn't be in the Hall of Fame. It's just
then what was that tone?
That was tone.
That was pure tone.
Yeah. I am looking at it as they're not in the Hall of Fame. Why is that? It's not just because everybody just hates Detroit.
Oh God,
there's got to be a reason. And I'm not saying it's a good reason. I'm just saying there's got to be a reason. I know
it's a bad reason that needs to change.
The bigger snub to me is Chris Osgood. Because Chris Osgood, I don't think wins are necessarily a goalie
good
stat.
Business, Jay. Did you see that? In wrestling, we call that, you just did some really good business with me right there.
Yeah.
You just took me out of the death and whatever. You saved me from hitting you with the chair.
Yeah.
Very well. Sorry to interrupt.
It's
Continue.
all right. I don't think wins are necessarily a goalie stat like wins aren't a quarterback stat. He benefited a lot from playing on really damn good teams, but he does have over 400 of them. That can't be taken away. The reason, though, why...
But it is. They take it away from him. It's irrelevant, obviously. You tell me it's relevant, but then it's not.
No, I'm just saying that when it comes to all-time save percentage, it's not as kind to Chris Osgood. And I'm not saying that should carry all the weight, but he's 87th.
I forgot stats.
And
he's what?
87th all-time in save percentage. That's not good. In regular season save percentage.
It's winning. It's cops. Who cares? You look at Grant Fuhrs.
But I know. And that's a great point.
Look at the older one. I get it. Don't mean to argue. You're just bringing up things. I'm not yelling at you. You're bringing up why you're saying, D-Mac, this is what the people who are voting are looking at. But explain to me how that even matters. Right? Because it's not about, isn't the game about winning? Isn't that we're taught when we're little kids, no matter what sport we win, right? And I know it's about playing fair and sportsmanship and all that shit. But at the end of the day, stats are fucking for losers. Didn't I learn that when I was a kid? Mm-hmm. That it's all about the team? And it's not about the individual? Am I wrong? Were you guys, is that just a Canadian thing or a hockey thing?
We're talking about the Hall of Fame, though. You've got to put up some stats. To me...
Some stats. Right. So to me, you're saying because Chris Osgood's goals, I get it that you look into it and there's going to be categories that are that aren't shiny, but the fact 400 to get to 400 and have 3 cups that you backstop to, especially the last one where you came in relief in the friggin' first series. To me, I don't understand what the criteria is other than it's different strokes for different folks.
Well, should he be in? Sure, he should. But you know what? I know that we're all Red Wings fans, and I know that you guys aren't going to want to hear this. I want to see you guys pounding the table for Corey Crawford when he's eligible, if you want to put Chris Osgood in. No. Because he's got a much...
How many wins does Corey Crawford have?
He's got 2.
What?
2.
No.
2 cups.
That's...
No, okay, 2 cups, 260.
That's not 400.
Higher save percentage. He's top 15.
140 wins. That's boom, 80 games a year to whatever like that. No, that's not 400, Sam.
But you act like Corey Crawford is like blasphemy.
I didn't
just saying
act like
that their resumes are more similar
when you're
than you
talking
think.
about Chris Osgood.
Maybe they should both.
Corey Crawford has a. If Corey Crawford got in before Chris Osgood, somebody gonna get beat.
They should both get in.
What about Carey Price?
I'm not saying that he shouldn't, but you can't sit here and go Corey Crawford when you just bypass Chris Osgood.
I'm not bypassing.
Corey Crawford's half of Chris Osgood.
Half of Chris Osgood.
He's got. If we're talking
one
about
less cup and a what's 150 less wins? Like, don't even get there because here's the thing: you say Chris Osgood, I say Lou Whitaker's more snubbed. To what is allowed in baseball, go look at the Hall of Fame in baseball. And at least there's a little bit more, barely, in the Hockey Hall of Fame, but it seems that not everybody gets in. Obviously, Chris Osgood's not in, so everybody doesn't get in. But Lou Whitaker, after all this time...
Again, when it comes to Lou Whitaker, I'm not saying he shouldn't be in, but I want to hear you guys pounding the table just as hard for a guy that us Detroit Tigers fans don't like as much, Prince Fielder. I think that Prince Fielder has a much better case than Lou Whitaker. I think that they both could necessarily
Did Prince Fielder win a World Series?
No.
Oh, well, there you go. Was he part of the greatest double play combination in
I don't care about defense. I don't care about double play combination.
That's not part of baseball. Is double plays part of baseball? And if I go to the Hall of Fame, do I not want to know who turned over 2,000 of them?
Defense is the least important thing in baseball. It's way less important than pitching and hitting. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Prince Fielder is much more deserving than Lou Whitaker.
Yeah, you know what?
Five-time All-Star.
It certainly is. Do you remember the San Francisco World Series? Were you old enough when we couldn't feel the fucking ball from the pitching mound that cost us the series?
Madison Bumgarner didn't have anything to do with that. I'm just saying, it wasn't. Defense is overrated in baseball.
Did anybody watch? Did anybody the errors we made from the pitcher position on balls that did not make it past the pitching? Am I losing it? Am I on a freaking multiverse?
They couldn't hit either, though. That's the thing. It was a combination of errors. I'm just saying that Lou Whitaker, I wouldn't be mad if he got in. Just this idea that he's like this biggest snub of all time. Oh, if he were on any other team but Detroit, everybody hates Detroit.
I'm going by the numbers. I'm going by what I see to everybody else getting into what it meant to the generation, to whatever the duration that they played together. There's something there. If I don't know, isn't the Hall of Fame for people 100 or 200 years from now that don't even know? Like, I already have a problem with the baseball because they should have asterisks to tell the story. If you omit history, right? And I just think that it's that these like this. I don't understand why.
And he has the same amount of All-Star appearances as Torrey Hunter. And I know that nobody's pounding the table for Torrey Hunter being in the Hall of Fame.
I don't understand, right? So the same thing. It's like it was all this time. I thought once Alan Trammell got in, it's almost like two peas in a pod, wasn't it?
Yeah. You don't get in just because your buddy got in.
Okay, I guess your criteria, obviously, the moniker, the legend killer, you can't get by that door.
Yeah,
the
we
Chris
know you don't
Osgood
like
one,
defense, Sam.
The Chris Osgood one is absolutely 400.
If Carey Price gets in and Chris Osgood doesn't, oh my god.
They should both.
Carey Price is going to get in first ballot.
Yeah.
Right?
Because
but Carey Price, to his defense, has world championships and Canada Cup and gold, and that means something in the voting.
Yeah.
But he's viewed different. You're right, Spencer. I'm going by whatever else. And if you're going by strictly on the save percentage, that wasn't what it was about.
Yeah.
It's not all about save percentage, but
I wish it was about wins and about cups.
I'm just looking at the reason why he hasn't been voted in. Do I think he should be in? Probably, but it's not as slam dunk of a case as, say, like Dominic Hasek or something like that.
But Rakey does. Rake says Chris Osgood doesn't get in because he doesn't have the offensive numbers. He's got a goal. He scored a goal. Like, come on, man. It's a goalie that scored a goal with 3 cups and 400 wins.
Yeah.
Gosh darn it, mic drop on that one. What are we doing here?
Corey
Anyways,
Crawford,
I know what I'm doing. Bethany, I'm coming over after. Anyways, you guys Be like me. I'm going to Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men for award-winning haircut experience, and I'm going to register for once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to win a down payment for my dream home. No, I'm not. I can't. I'm an employee. But you can. Up to $200,000 towards your dream home. I said it, $200K. Lady Jane's open 7 days a week. Walk in any time. It's wicked awesome.
The sports marketing agency would not be who we are without great community partners like Higuera Health and Carol Zuniga.
It's an awesome opportunity to partner with your organization. Higuera Health is a comprehensive behavioral health organization. We serve children through older adults with mental health, substance use, and developmental disabilities across Western Wayne counties, and really excited to now be in downriver communities as well. Give us a call at 734-458-4601.
Love Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on Shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Beverly Hills Golf, Woodward Golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today. We don't like to brag that we are the toughest sports network in Detroit, but we do have a guy named Darren McCarty on our side.
Lemieux and McCarty, who've had a good knockdown drag up. There they go, right on the whistle, baby, talking to one another.
Woodward Sports.
Matrix Home Solutions is your go-to for any home project. Looking for that new man cave? Well, Matrix has you covered. They are your basement remodel experts that also specialize in kitchens and bathrooms as well. With an A+ rating by the Better Business Bureau, why not give them a try? Call them today at 888-594-8844, or you can always check them out online at matrixhomesolutions.com.
Going on Big D Energy, just a little bit of heat. Yeah, I'll have Ozzy in at some point, and him and Sam can talk about the... They could talk about the save percentages and stuff. But Eric Allen, thank you, Eric Allen. I haven't seen you in here before, but that Niels is the chat thread thing. But Osgood never had a losing season. Never in Capitals. In his entire career, and if that doesn't yell Hall of Fame with two very pedestrian clubs in St. Louis and the New York Islanders that he took both to the playoffs, right? That speaks volumes. That speaks more volumes to me never missing the playoffs.
I mean, for the record, everybody, if Chris Osgood makes the Hall of Fame, I'm not going to pound the table. I'm not going to say that it was a terrible induction. I think he probably
should. Nobody would do that.
I think he should probably be in. I'm just looking at actual reasons why maybe he's not, as opposed to just like Detroit fans playing the victim all the time. That's all.
Matt Giles, Whitaker had 4 Silver Sluggers and 3 Golden Gloves.
He won 4 Silver Sluggers at second base. It's not that hard.
Sam, timeout. Does anybody not get, hey, you know what? There's positions in baseball, right? In the Hall of Fame. If you're the best at your position, I'm sorry that he wasn't what are you talking about? So he's up against all the rest of the second basemen.
I understand.
So he's the best of the best to whatever.
Prince Fielder had more career home
Prince
runs,
Fielder's a first
RBIs,
baseman. Put him up against all the
batting
rest of the first
average,
basemen
on base
history.
percentage, 6-time All-Star.
He's a first baseman.
I get it, but that doesn't. It's not a position award. I mean,
it's not.
It's not a position going to the Hall of Fame. Prince Fielder is a better baseball player than Whitaker. Not even
Spencer,
close.
isn't position part of the Hall of Fame if you're the best at your position in the calendar
Second
years?
base versus first base. There's way more great first basemen than second basemen. Come on, it's notoriously a weak hitting position.
It's still you're the best.
But we kidding? But if you're the best of it and putting up numbers and whatever like that, like you're saying so you go by the analogy of why there's no kickers in the Hall of Fame.
I mean, should there be kickers in the Hall of Fame? Maybe Adam Vinatieri, Justin
At the
Tucker,
best of their
maybe.
ability. Yeah. I like the story told. Maybe the Hall of Fame and my perception of what the Hall of Fame is or should be is different. Because I look at it like if I was going to tell a story, right, of what happened before and who was involved, there's more things that I guess I would have in it to then it's not just the best of the best of the best, there's 100. Who is the best at their position? Because second base is an important part.
Very important part.
Of the baseball. Anyways, enough of that. I want to give some time right here to the Pistons. They're playing tonight, and we thought we'd show you just in case everybody's worried about Neil and stuff like this. Well, he was slumming it last night, as you could see, in Little Italy in New York, for anybody who's watching the WoodwardSports.com thread. There's the man, the myth, the legend, George Blaha in the picture right there. So there's a broadcast call. Neil will be on the call tonight, but let's talk, take a couple minutes here to talk Pistons, because as the trade deadline arises, the one guy on the roster who has some value probably around the league is the sharpshooter, sniper, and Bojan Bogdanović. I guess straight out ask you, Sam, do you think the Pistons will deal Bogdanović at the trade deadline, and would you do it?
Yeah, I mean, they should. I think they will, because Bojan Bogdanović, what he's done this year is have his single greatest offensive season of his career. 20-point-a-game scorers who shoot over 40% from three do not grow on trees, and they're valuable commodities in the NBA. Where his numbers are not valuable this year is this Detroit Pistons team, which is terrible. They're out of it. But the thing about the NBA this season, and I know, Spenny, you would probably back me up on this, it's pretty wide open. If you're even a team like the New York Knicks, you might think that you're a Bojan Bogdanović away from maybe competing in the East. Do I think they're correct? Not necessarily, but Jalen Brunson's been good. Julius Randle has kind of came back to being the Julius Randle he was a couple of years ago. Bojan Bogdanović might be a missing piece. If you're the Lakers, I know the Lakers have a losing record, but LeBron James he's been great this year. Anthony Davis just came back. They have two arguably top 10 players right now, and they still probably feel like they could win the West. Would a Bojan Bogdanović, a shooter, where a type of player which LeBron notably works well with, would he pair well on the Lakers? Probably. Do the Lakers think that maybe he's a missing piece? Sure. What about Dallas? Shooters to put around Luka Doncic. I mean, the Dallas Mavericks have had a bit of a disappointing season, although Luka statistically has had the best year of his career. But one of the reasons why is because he doesn't have as much help as maybe other superstars. And Bojan Bogdanović, despite what he doesn't do well, which is play defense, he's a marksman. He's been a marksman this year. And with how wide open the NBA is, there are a lot of teams that could believe that they are a Bojan Bogdanović away from competing. So absolutely the Pistons should trade him. And good on Bojan Bogdanović for having such a great year and becoming such a valuable trade piece.
No, absolutely. Spenny, do you think that, I see that, he might not be for a contender, but he could be that missing piece because he's dead-eye from three, right? Like, do you have any, I guess the question to you is, where do you think, because I think he's more the finishing piece, right? When we were talking about Jalen Ramsey coming here, like that guy that's the finishing piece down the road for the Lions. Mm-hmm. Do you see him maybe trading with certain teams?
Yeah, I think obviously, like Sam said, he is very good. Obviously, he's a shooter. Anybody wants them. All teams want to add shooting. And actually, what Brandon Cat said in the chat is good. It makes sense. Bogdanović doesn't make a team a contender, but like what you said, he is that finishing piece.
He's that finishing
on
piece.
A contender. And so what I'm looking at, there are three teams I'm looking at that would be adding a Bojan Bogdanović. They're all in the West, because the West, I think, is a lot more open than the East when you look at from 1 to 8. I think it would be the Memphis Grizzlies. I think it would be the Phoenix Suns. And I think it would be the Dallas Mavericks. Those are teams that are looking to go after Bojan Bogdanović. The Detroit Pistons are asking for an unprotected first-round pick for him, as they should. And a team like Sam said, you put him next to Luka, they'd work well with each other. He's obviously a knockdown three-point shooter. You put him on Memphis, who already has a very solid defensive team. You add a guy like Bojan Bogdanović that's just more shooting, and you put him on Phoenix, whose championship window is rapidly closing with the Devin Booker situation. Chris Paul is not getting any younger. They need to make a push. So if you bring in a guy like Bojan Bogdanović, he could push a team over the top.
No, it could. And if you want to catch the Pistons tonight in Brooklyn, our boy Neil Rule will be on the call. When we come back, I got a money issue. And it's by one of Sam Flannel's favorite in the NBA. Anyways, tell me about Cintron.
I will, because Cintron is the lifestyle energy beverage for you and for everyone. Cintron World is an aspirational lifestyle beverage brand with a line of sparkling flavored energy beverages with premium bottled waters. Cintron is the official energy drink of the Red Wings, proud partners with the Detroit Pistons, and exclusively served at Little Caesars Arena. Buy online at drinkcintron.com. Cintron is also available on Amazon. You can follow socials at Cintron World to join the Cintron lifestyle for hockey games to concerts and also charity events. Try Cintron now, and why wait?
All right.
Love Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on Shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Beverly Hills Golf, Woodward Golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today.
What's a winter wonderland if you can't shop, eat, and play? Lucky for you, you can do it all at the Downtown Detroit Markets, Cadillac Lodge, and the new winter version of the Monroe Street Midway, all located just across the street from Campus Martius Park. Find the fun at deckedoutdetroit.com.
Hi, I'm John from Better Rate Mortgage, and to me, family is more than blood. That's why I have the biggest family in Metro Detroit. If you're looking to buy a house or refinance and need a loan, come get treated better than family by me and our entire team here at Better Rate Mortgage. We pride ourselves on giving you better advice, better service, and a better loan experience. That's why we are Better Rate. If you're looking for a new mortgage, come get treated like family. Actually, better with Better Rate Mortgage. Visit us at mybetterrate.com or call at 248-480-4467 today.
Custom Health Centers, get your customized approach to weight loss like our boy on the bottom line, Ryan Ermanni. This is not him, but it sort of gives you an idea because he is down as of yesterday 14 pounds. I think all the ways weight affects you. If you want to get behind your weight loss, just like Ryan has done, just like former Lion kicker Eddie Murray's done, former bad boy Rick Mahor, you can too. You can even call Dr. Jason at Custom Health Centers, 844-789-4446. That's 844-789-8446. Give Custom Health calls today. You won't regret it. Final segment, Big D Energy. And as I teased, Sam's favorite player in the NBA is Ben Simmons, if you didn't know.
That's not true. Erroneous.
Oh, that's not true? That's erroneous?
Erroneous.
Oh, well, I thought if you two were boys, at least you could have given him some advice, you being the newlywed, you going through the engagement process, the marriage process. And I don't think if you saw this, but I had to bring this up. Right? So Ben Simmons, we all know, Brooklyn Nets, all the schmozzle, can't shoot, whatever like that. Forget about that. We know he's about. Did you hear that he had his engagement broke off with his fiance and is now requesting the return, wait for it, of the $800,000 ring that he gave his ex-fiance? My question to you guys is he allowed to ask? Is it proper for him to ask back? What do you think of this situation? And I'll give you mine at the end. What did you see when you saw this?
If you're Ben Simmons, you spent a lot of the past couple years, and for whatever reason, it's his reason. I'm not going to get into that. Basically, stealing money, not playing basketball, and collecting a contract. So, at that point, I think you can eat an $800,000 loss for an engagement ring. If you give an engagement ring to who turns out to be the wrong woman, you made a bad decision. It's on you, especially if you're an NBA player who can pretty much have your pick of anyone you want. If you regret getting engaged, just take the loss, Ben Simmons. Speaking of Ben Simmons, the shine on him, the fall from grace of Ben Simmons has been quite the... it's been unlike a lot of things that I've seen, and just this furthers it. Ben Simmons is kind of more of a punchline now, unfortunately.
But look at his fiance. Oh man, that is a very attractive young lady.
I think real cream of reap brings it up, guys. Is the fact that it's out in public.
Yeah,
I mean isn't that the what impression are you under, Spenny? Just so you know. With me in your lives, I would never allow you guys to spend that much on a ring.
I appreciate that.
I think that love is that right. Exactly. I would much rather you put it into something more frivolous and something that you will get returning. Like a whole flannel suit or something like that. But I think this is more too. Spenny, do you not agree that? Guys and girls and whatever like this, if you're gonna make that commitment, it's already gone.
Yes.
It's a gift. I mean, if you would have thought in the first place that this was gonna happen, you wouldn't invest that much. Isn't this like an invest? You guys look at this like an investment?
Yeah, I mean, it is an investment. You think that you're gonna spend the rest of your life with this person, but my point is, if you're an NBA basketball player, that usually doesn't work. You're young, you're rich, you travel all around the world. And if you do make said mistake, you just have to live in it. You have to live with it and just let her keep the damn ring. I mean, I'm not a fan of overall sort of a woman keeping an engagement ring when they don't get engaged. But this is Ben Simmons. This is an NBA basketball player. This is different. He can afford it.
Now, does it matter if she broke it off or if he broke it off? Because I don't know. I just think that it's a payoff.
I agree.
To go away.
I don't think it matters who broke it off. Like, you gave it to her. It's hers now. It's not yours anymore. So.
And as Sam Flannel eloquently put it, Ben Simmons has been stealing money for years. Don't feel bad.
That's fair.
Right? Like, is that what you thought right away? Oh, well, at least he spent some of that money because he's made bazillions.
Yeah, and what he's done in the past couple years of his career has been basically nothing. We forget that Ben Simmons was once kind of like the up-and-coming, maybe the next Magic Johnson type player. I know it sounds laughable now, but he had a pretty good start to his career, and he's just fallen off so hard. And he's basically a role player on the Nets now. Nothing more, nothing less.
What year is he in?
That's a good question.
Right, because coming out of college, you're right. The way
he had 2 rookie years.
What's that?
He had 2 rookie years.
He did.
He had 2 rookie years.
Yeah, he was hurt for his first year, and then he came back what was technically his second year, his first year playing, and won Rookie of the Year, and many people thought that it should have gone to Donovan Mitchell.
It's technically his 7th year, but he didn't play for 2 of them, so it's his 5th year.
And how old is he?
He is 26.
He's still young.
26.
Is there any resurrection for this guy, or is it done? Is he Russell Wilson? Is this the Russell Wilson? Like, I mean, not even the credentials to whatever else, but is he done like I think Russell Wilson?
He never, obviously, you mentioned it, he never hit the highest highs of Russell Wilson. But Ben Simmons, to me, I think he is a valuable piece on this Brooklyn Nets team and can be a valuable piece, but just as a guy who plays 25, 30 minutes a game, dishes out a few assists, still will never be able to shoot. He's got some skills that are valuable. He never developed in a way that his talent kind of dictated that he could. He's kind of a what if. Spenny, is Ben Simmons a what if in the NBA, or is that too harsh?
100% a what if. Like, at his peak, he could be a Draymond Green type player, but he doesn't have the edge or heart of a Draymond Green, which is a lot of what makes him great. But you look at Ben Simmons, and the things he does well are defend and play make. And other than that, he's never going to be an offensive player. He can get downhill. He's a good transition player, but in half-court offense, it's not going to happen.
I remember, Spenny, when people were saying, and this didn't sound crazy at the time, Ben Simmons, man, when he gets a jump shot, the league is his.
Yeah.
It all sounds laughable now, but at the time, it really wasn't that crazy. I mean, what he brings to a team at his best, great passer, 6'10" point guard, still a good defender, but he's never going to develop into what his talent dictated that he could. No chance.
Well, guys, there you heard it here first on a Thursday for JB, for Spenny, for Sam Flannel. Remember, you heard it. Chris Osgood and Lou Whitaker, no Hall of Fame.
That's
Ben
not exactly
Simmons,
what I
he's
said.
putting in the Hall of Fame, folks. He just said it. We'll leave it. We'll see you tomorrow.
Erroneous on all
Deuces.
counts. Jesus.